Hello, my friend, and welcome back. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about trust and faith. And now, if you watched yesterday's video, it was very much, I did a card pool, and it was talking about what is not aligned in your life. And we kind of went into the message of now being the time to decipher what is aligned and what is not aligned, and letting go of that which is not aligned. And I think that the other half of that is faith and is trust. And just knowing that no matter what, things will work out. Because when you remove your judgment of right and wrong, yes and no, things working out and things not working out, you may come to find that more things work out than you think. And just because something doesn't go exactly as you planned it or as you intended it or as you wanted it, doesn't mean that it didn't work out for the best and for the highest good, because we cannot forget that we have a very limited perspective, and that the divine, which is the coordinator of everything, has that aerial perspective and really has that overall view of the way things need to fall in place for things to work out for your highest good. And because we are all one, when things are working out for your highest good, they are therefore working out for the highest good of all. So I like to end a lot of my intentions that way and asks that way. When I set the intention before I do every video, I end it with asking that it be for the highest good of myself, therefore the highest good of all. And life is not certain. We are not sent here knowing exactly what's going to happen, regardless of how much you're able to develop your intuitive abilities. You will never know exactly step by step what is happening. You might get a little niggle, the niggles, the little nudges towards which direction to go and everything like that, but you never know how things are exactly going to turn out. Nothing is guaranteed, and the reason why you can never know, even if there are some intuitives that have the ability to see the future, whether it's a premonition or a vision or anything like that. The thing with that is they are only able to see one timeline. And when they have the sight of the future, they are only able to see the most likely projected timeline. So on the path that you're currently on, they're only able to see that path. Now, that path, therefore that future, can change in an instant. It can totally change your timeline if you were to go left as opposed to going right. If your most projected timeline depended on you going right at some point, and then at that point you actually went left, then that timeline is changed. So therefore, that's why sometimes when you see a psychic and they tell you that something is going to happen and it does happen, it's because you stayed on the timeline that they saw. Or if you ever had something predicted for you that did not happen, that just meant that you changed timelines. It actually has nothing to do with the talent of the psychic. So with that being said, and knowing that nothing is set in stone, a lot of the steps that we take in life require faith. And I feel like faith and trust is probably the hardest aspect of spirituality, because you can do your affirmations, you can train your thoughts, you can choose your actions, you can choose not to react to other things in the outside world. A lot more than we realize is within our control. It's just not within our control in the way that we think it's within our control. Like with other people, you may think you would want to control other people and the way they're acting, But in reality, what you can control is your reaction to them and how much time you allow yourself to spend with them. That is the way you can control it. So with all of these choices and with all of the ways that, we can shape our reality and, do things like that, the faith aspect is the part that is, so it's under our control to have faith, but like the faith of knowing that, that everything is going to work out, the working out part is not within our control. And that is where your faith and trust in the divine goes in. And, this is a lesson that keeps coming back to me over and over again. And, I get a lot of like coincidences around that. And a lot of times when I am struggling and I ask for help, a lot of times the message that comes through is to trust and is to have faith. And it's hard, being a human, it is definitely hard sometimes, but that is why spirituality is a journey, and that faith and that trust is all part of the journey. Because it's like faith and trust is kind of like a little pile of rocks. Like, every time you have faith and everything turned out fine or everything turned out better than you thought, it kind of like throws a little pebble onto that pile. So it's kind of like but you have to have the faith first. The more faith that you have and the more trust that you have, the more examples and the more things that'll happen that'll toss little pebbles onto that pile. And, the bigger that pile gets, the easier it is to have faith. So it's kind of like anything else in life. Like, you have to take that step first, and then you'll get the pebbles to put onto your pile. And then as you accumulate your pebbles, the easier things get. It's just like any other practice or any other journey. If you're learning to dribble a basketball, you have to try first. You have to try to dribble the basketball, and you have to practice dribbling the basketball. But the more you dribble the basketball, the easier it gets, and the better you are at dribbling the basketball. And the easier it gets as time goes on, the more you practice dribbling the basketball. Faith is the same exact thing. You just have to have it first, and then you're able to, add those pebbles onto your pile till your faith pile is huge, and it is so easy for you to have faith and trust in the divine. And it's a journey to get there, and I am definitely on that journey, and that is definitely something that I remind myself daily. Anytime I'm getting too wrapped up in things I can't control, or too wrapped up in the future and how things are going to work out, and am I doing the right thing, and will I be going down the right path, and yada yada yada, I always bring myself back to faith and trust. Always. It's so important. And I think it's so important because it takes a weight off of your shoulders to understand that in a lot of situations, the only thing you have to do is have the faith and trust that it is going to work out. Is kind of like, it's kind of a relief, because when you realize that your worry and that you're too much thinking and getting too wrapped up in things, when you realize that to make the situation work out perfectly, you just have to have faith. Having faith is way easier than worrying about things and, getting yourself all in a tizzy about what's going to happen. So let's take the easier route. We weren't made to struggle in this world. We were meant to move through this world with ease and grace. So therefore, sometimes we need to choose the path of ease. And having faith, while may not be easy, and especially at first, but that path of faith is the path of ease as opposed to the path of resistance of trying to control and worrying about every single thing. Because we may think that worrying prepares us and worrying, allows us to see the full picture, and it does to a certain extent. That is why we are naturally prone to it. It is part of our human protection system of our ego, is to worry a little bit and to be like, okay, well, now my eyes are open to this, this, and this. But once you get that lesson, once you get that message, once your eyes are open a little bit, you have to drop that worry, because that worry will eat away at you slowly, but surely will be eating away at you inside. So once you get that message, because worry is a feeling, once you get the message of the feeling like, okay, I'm worried about this and this and this and this might be the outcome and this is the full picture, okay, then put that worry down. Say thank you for that message, keep it moving. And then turn to your faith, turn to the trust, turn to what the most optimal outcome is. A lot of times in situations, and I try to remind myself of this all the time, especially when I'm imagining the worst case scenario. I stop, I bring my awareness to what I'm doing, and I say, okay, well, what is the best case scenario? What is the highest possible outcome for this? And then I think about that, and I try to get in the feeling of that, and I try to ask that is what happens. But a lot of times, even the best case scenario, we can't even imagine the highest case scenario, because we're not that coordinator. We are in a human form with a very limited view. Therefore, we don't always get that highest view. So what I really just want to drive home today is that how paramount and how important having trust and faith is in the divine, and that it is a practice. I don't want you to think like, I'm just supposed to have trust and faith in everything and I'm just going to let go of everything. No, it doesn't exactly work like that. We are still human. But bringing your awareness back to your faith, and then, choosing to have faith and to trust and to let go of that worry is so, so important and so, so valuable, and will help you so much with your basic human stress levels. So that is our message for today. Let us move through today with ease and grace and faith and trust. And I hope this video brought you some value. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon, my friend.